Today, I show you how to build a course business for beginners. If you've never done this before, you have no idea how to start, I'm going to teach you how to do this in 8 very specific steps. Step number 1, you want to find your course topic. Now, there are 3 pillars for finding a great course topic. Number 1, it needs to be something that you love. Now, you've probably heard this advice before. If you're going to build a business, don't base its success on your passion or what you love. That's very stupid to do because you could end up with a product that is terrible, and I agree with that. But you need this, when you're doing a course, it needs to be something you actually love. Otherwise, you're not going to teach it with interest. I've seen people with 0 speaking experience, terrible communicators. But when they start talking about something they're passionate about, it channels all their energy and they do an amazing job teaching whatever content it is they're putting into their course. So the first thing when you pick your course topic is make sure it is a topic you love. Number 2, make sure it's a topic you are good at. This needs to be something that you have experienced life change through. And it could be as simple as, you figured out how to train dogs or how to play pickleball or how to train other people how to play basketball. And whether or not you have clients yet, it doesn't matter. What matters is that you have experienced life change, because if you haven't, then you shouldn't be teaching it. And by life change, I don't mean it doesn't have to be some dramatic, earth-shattering, universe-denting, amazing change. I mean it needs to be you've had results. Let's say you're teaching people how to get out of debt. You successfully got out of debt. So now you are qualified to teach that to other people. Now, the reason this is important is you want to make sure that it's not just something you love, but something that transfers over to actually helping people. It's sort of like, I don't know how many of you guys grew up in church, but if you grew up in church and there's someone who wants to sing in the choir and they have a terrible voice, but they think they have a great voice. They love singing, but they don't know a thing about singing. You would never ask that person to teach people how to sing until they had learned how to do it themselves first. Okay, so just to recap, you're going to pick your course topic. What are the 3 pillars? Number 1, you love it. Number 2, you're really good at it. And number 3, the market is hungry for it. This is one a lot of people miss, because if you have number 1 and number 2, but you don't have number 3, no one's going to pay you jack for your course. So make sure it is something the market is hungry for. And the easiest way to do this is go search podcasts, TikTok channels, YouTube channels, Instagram accounts, Facebook pages, courses, and find out if there's interest in that topic. And if there's interest in that topic, then you know there's demand. And the more interest and more demand there is, the better the sales you will get. But if you can't find any interest, in fact, here's another way to find if there's interest. See if there are any experts in that space, any celebrities within that topic. For example, if you're going to teach people how to train dogs, are there people online who are well known for doing it? If there are, that actually validates your market. I had a guy the other day, we were on the phone, he was interested in craftsmen, and he said he wasn't confident about launching a course because he knew of someone else in the same topic, which had something to do with ISPs and networking, who was already really well known in that space. And my response is, actually, that validates the market. That validates it. You want people who are really good in that space. Okay, so that's step number 1. You're going to pick your topic based on those 3 pillars. Step number 2, you need to create a hyper niche. This is critical. A hyper niche is simply a subtopic of whatever niche it is. So if you want to teach people how to train dogs, but you see other people with courses, don't make your own course. Because why would someone buy your training when someone else who's already established, they already have great reviews, is already doing this successfully for other people? Instead, create a subcategory. For example, you can create a subcategory. Actually, there's 3 ways. Number 1, by creating a subcategory in who you serve. So instead of just for any humanoid on planet Earth, you could say for new homeowners. I teach new homeowners. Second subcategory can be in the way you teach. So I teach them how to handle, or specifically like golden retrievers, for example. My method is specifically for golden retrievers. So I teach new homeowners how to train their golden retrievers. And the third subcategory would be the desired outcome. Of course, their desired outcome is to have a trained dog, but get a little more specific. A dog trained so well that it impresses your neighbors. And if they're moving into the new house, their neighbors thinking highly of them is probably important to them. So having a trained dog will be even more important. So what I just did is I walked you through how to create a hyper niche. It is a subcategory of the niche. The niche is the pond with a lot of demand, a lot of podcast topics, a lot of Spotify accounts, a whole lot of courses. But the hyper niche needs to have no courses because you're going to fish in the niche and then draw those fish into the hyper niche. Okay, so that's step number 2. You create a hyper niche. Step number 3, you're going to win your first 15 clients on your phone. Now, I'm dead serious when I talk about this. When I first started as an entrepreneur, this is exactly how I won my first clients. And I've continued to do this very successfully. On this little device right here, you have hundreds, probably thousands of contacts, people who know you either well or a distant acquaintance. And all you have to do is reach out to them, connect with them first. How are you doing? I noticed you just had a baby. I noticed that you just won that pickleball tournament. That's awesome. How's your family? And then move straight into your question. Hey, I just started up a training for people who want to learn how to train their golden retrievers. Can you think of anyone, or who do you know who has golden retrievers who might be interested in my training? That's it. And if you send 50 to 100 texts every single day until you've exhausted your contacts, I guarantee you're going to get someone interested in probably 15 people. As a general average, I've been doing this a long time, around 15 is realistic. And each of those 15 people only paid you $5,000, which is super realistic for a course price. I mean, some courses are up to $50,000 now. 5,000 times 15 is $75,000. Now, if you don't have any successful clients yet, and you're concerned, why would they pay you money if you don't have successful clients? But you have trained your own dog. Here's what you could do. You could say, look, the first 3 people I'm taking on for free, I will serve them for free. And all I ask is 2 things. Give me feedback along the way so I can improve. And number 2, if I do a good job, give me an amazing raving review. So what you've done is you're willing to work for free because they're helping you even more than you're helping them, whether you think it or not, because you're investing in them, yes, but it's helping grow your business. And if those first 3 clients are blown away by your service, their testimonies now gives you more of a grounds to charge. And you might start out lower. You might start, okay, I'm gonna do 1,000, then 2, then 3, then 4. But it doesn't take long to scale a course business if you do it right. So that is your third step. You're going to win your first 15 clients using your phone. The reason I recommend this, and I'll tell you, the biggest challenge is not going to be, oh, I'm texting people, are they going to be offended? Because you're asking a question. Do you know of anyone? You're not saying, do you have a golden retriever so you can become my client? Like, you're making it easy. And if it so happens that they do have a golden retriever that needs training, well, of course they're going to tell you. The reason this is important is this is already a warm audience. Is it time intensive? Yeah. And if you have a full-time job, maybe you're gonna do it 50 times a day. But if this is your full-time thing, at least 100 a day, you can do this. Just send them a text, create a snippet, create a text replacement. You type in 3 letters, boom, it fills it out for you, then customize it for each person and send it away. Okay, that brings me to the next step. The next step is to build your course based on what they want and need. Now, this is really important. Most course builders, especially if they're new, they just go out, create a course, and then try to sell it. But when people get into the course, they realize, this doesn't make sense. I really didn't want to know about that, and this is missing. We really don't know what people want until we ask them. When I launched my first course, it was after I'd received a whole bunch of comments on YouTube, as well as Instagram, and coaching people one-to-one, and I knew what they wanted. I knew what questions were being asked. This will also make it a lot easier to market your course, because you could talk about exactly what's in it. And if that's what people are already asking, then you know you are scratching where they are itching. So when you win your first few clients, whether you make the first few free or not, ask them first, say, look, I would like you to fill out a little questionnaire that it's super simple. Just give me your top 10 questions or top 20 questions about this topic. What do you want to know the most? And that will guide you. That becomes an outline for your course. Now, might there be other things you need to include that they don't know about because you were the expert and they're not? Of course, and that's fine. You could include those. But make sure you ask the question, because now you know you're building exactly what they want. And that brings me to the next step. Create your funnel. I recommend you create what is called a reward funnel. What it is you create a mini version of your training, a mini course. Typically, it's going to be 4 videos. And when they are invited into a school community where they take that course, you give them a deadline. You say you have, for example, 5 days to complete the course. And if you do all the assignments at the end of each training, I'm going to give you a gift. If you don't do the assignments and if you don't complete it in 5 days, you will get the boot. You'll be removed from the community. This creates a community of action takers instead of procrastinators. It also means that every single person who stays in your community knows what you're selling. They understand your offer. They heard your pitch, which means you're going to get a lot more sales. If you don't include the incentive, there's both something they're going to lose, they're going to be kicked out of the community, and they don't get the reward video, as well as something they gain, they get the reward video. If you don't include that incentive, it's like when my friend said, Seth, you should buy this book. The book was Stealing Fire. It's how experts around the world create altered states of consciousness to increase their ability to perform. And that book sat on my shelf for months. Why? Because I could always get to it when I wanted to. But if someone had said, hey, in a week, you have to return this because I, checked it out at the library. Who does that anymore? I checked it out at the library. I have a week. I'm going to read it because I don't want to, especially if I paid money for it. Of course, libraries don't charge, but let's just say someone said you buy this book, it costs you $10, but you lose it after a week. I'm going to read it. And especially if they say you get to keep it if you read it before the week is up, I'm definitely going to read it. Now there's incentive. It's like the test they did with mice going through tubes. When they put cheese in front of the mice, they ran through a lot faster. And the cheese would be they get the reward video. But when they added the smell of a cat behind, those mice ran the fastest. And the fear of the cat would be fear of being kicked out of the community and the fear of not being able to get the reward video. Now, at the end of each training video in your mini course, I recommend you give them an assignment. For example, post in the community what was your biggest takeaway from this training and what is your biggest obstacle you anticipate having applying it. What this does is there's two things. Number one, it creates an engaged community. It proves that they actually did go through the video because it's really hard to fake that. But third, you're now getting content and questions that you can help them with. And it's also going to help you to make your course better. And that's marketing content topics you can use in the future because you're understanding where they're at. I'm telling you, this reward funnel will help you grow your sales so much. You don't need ads. You don't need a viral audience. You don't need a complex marketing system. You literally create a community in school, SKOOL. You have your mini course in there and you follow the rules consistently. If you make compromises, if you make exceptions, even though in the moment the person's going to say, oh, you're so wonderful, thank you so much, you were losing credibility. Don't do it. No exceptions. That brings me to the next step. Create content that wins more leads. Create content that wins leads means you're going to create content that helps people without asking for anything in return. So for example, if I create a YouTube video that helps you make money, now there's more trust. Now it makes more sense to say, hey, I'm inviting you to my mini course and you're more likely to go through the mini course and you may even buy the training. See how that works? I don't start with, hey, buy my course. No, I start with giving free value as consistently as I can. Not only does it prove you know what you're talking about and grows your credibility, but when someone applies your advice and it changes their life, let me tell you, you've won them. It's almost impossible to lose them because you literally helped them. And if they're going, man, the free content is this good, I can't imagine what is inside the paid content, you will get buyers. The cool thing is, instead of focusing on ads, which you can do, I'm not against it, and instead of focusing on a complex marketing system, you're just creating content. And then the CTA, the call to action at the end of the content, is to invite them to the mini course. See? And then when they watch the mini course, one of the videos includes you sharing your offer. And even at the first video, you tell them, you just let them know, hey, just so you know, I will be pitching an offer as part of this mini course as well. Just tell them up front. That way people don't feel bait and switched. Just be upfront and transparent makes it so much easier. The next step is make money. Now, this might sound like, oh, Seth, what are you talking about? That's easy. But I want you to think about this. You are impacting lives while you're making money. And the more money you make, the more lives you can reach. And if you keep your mission focused on, I'm going to help people while creating financial freedom for my family, you just did two things. You blessed your family and you blessed other people who you hadn't even met yet. That's amazing. This is why I like to call this the intersection of business and ministry. For years, I've run into this problem where there's this mindset in the world that if you want to be someone who honors God, then you need to go live as a monk and become broke and beat yourself. And I know that's an extreme example, but you get the idea. There's this underlying mindset that if you're going to be a full-time pastor, for example, you're always broke. But I don't find that in Scripture at all. Where in Scripture does it say that? It doesn't. It says a laborer is worthy of his wages. But then these same men were like, but I also want to create financial freedom for my family. I want to be able to take my wife on a vacation. I would like to put my kids in a school that has excellent training. I don't want them following the woke systems of today's culture. And what happens is you now feel stuck because you want to do ministry, you want to do money, and it feels like they're at war with each other. Instead, why not create a business that serves people but also pays you well? And that brings me to the last point. The last point is build this to scale. Here's the beauty of course creating. You create it once, you sell it thousands of times. Now, I don't mean you don't go back and optimize it and tweak it. Of course you do. As you get feedback, you always want to improve. But once you have just 200 sales for a $5,000 course, you just made $1 million. If you took only a third of that and reinvested it into scaling further, which then means you might want to run ads to reach more people. Maybe you want to hire a staff so they can help you do research for your marketing. You can scale this huge, but let's say you don't want to hire people, you don't want a bunch of overhead, totally fine. Just stick with a lifestyle level business, one that creates margin. So you literally could sweep your wife off her feet and go take her to another country at the drop of a hat. That's amazing. Talk about ministering to her and loving her. Men, I'm speaking to you now, she is your first priority other than Jesus Christ himself. So why not build a business that's scalable? And the way you do that is you create systems. You create systems. For example, this YouTube video, after it's done being recorded, will be sent to someone who will do quick edits on it and upload it and create a thumbnail. I don't have to think about it. It's a system. And I Slack him the information so he knows exactly what to do. What thumbnail text, what title. He might come back with a recommendation for a better title, which is often the case, and that's all good. Create systems, make it predictable. Don't just work on your business. Think, what can I do predictably and consistently and leverage software to help me? I'm going to give you a really cool tip. Gamma is one of my favorite. It is actually my favorite tool for presenting software. I used to use Google Slides a lot. They're pretty good, but Gamma is amazing. It's intuitive. You can use AI to clean up your text. You can actually use AI to create images that fit the theme and the branding of your company. And it's very low cost if you want to get the cost version. Literally last night, I needed to put together some training for a YouTube video. It took me about 10 minutes to put the presentation together because of Gamma. Now, by the way, I'm not an affiliate to them, but I want to add a caveat. 10 minutes, yes, but that's after 10 years of coaching people. So I'm taking knowledge I've learned from failing and trying and tweaking over and over and over and over again, having sold courses for 10 years. But to take that and organize it and put it into a presentation, Gamma is the bomb. All right, that's a high-level overview of how you can build a course business. I hope you really enjoyed it. If you do like this content, click the link below, and I will send you content every single day via email.